Okay, your next quiz is going to have a question just like this on it. Just a heads up. So given this information, cos is this fraction. As soon as you see a square root of 3 and a 2, you should be thinking, it's got some special triangle business happening. And theta is in standard position where we've got all 4 quadrants being considered. Find the exact values of the other 2 trig ratios. Okay, so cos happens okay, so I had to pause that because I just had to think my brain was getting ahead of me. First of all, cos. What is our relationship with cos? Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we are dealing with a situation where we've got cos as a -3 being the adjacent side and the hypotenuse being 2. Then we have to say, well, this relationship is negative because that's a -√3. So where is cos negative? All students, I lost my pen, torture is down here, shoot is down here. So cos is positive in quadrants 1 and 4. So this relationship had to happen in quadrants 2 and 3 in order for cos to be negative. Okay, let's make some terminal arms. I'm going to do my quadrant 2 terminal arm right here. So boom, there's a terminal arm, drop my perpendicular, make it green, boom. Make my little 90-degree right there. There's my triangle. And then I'm also actually just going to get this out of the way. So there's my quadrant 2 triangle, and cos is negative in quadrant 3. So I'm going to just get my quadrant 3 triangle out of the way now so I can just do math in a second. So my terminal arm would go somewhere in quadrant 3, and then we drop our perpendicular down to, or up in this case, to the x-axis. So I guess you would be raising your perpendicular. Boop, boop. And now we've got to think about, okay, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that means that our related acute angle, which is right there, the adjacent side is going to be -√3, and the hypotenuse is going to be 2. Well, this is our 30, 60, 90 triangle, which means we've got our 1 across from that angle. Similarly, if this is our related acute angle right here, cos is adjacent, -√3 over hypotenuse, and then our other side length would go opposite the angle, which is 1, but we're going down on our coordinate system. So this would actually be -1 on this in this quadrant. So figure out. We want to find the exact values of the other 2 trig ratios. Okay, let's do sine. This is cos, so let's do sine. Sine of this angle, which if we look back at our or our special triangles, we're going to know that this angle is 30, so the actual given angle, theta angle, is 150. So sine would be opposite over hypotenuse, 1 over 2, and tan of this angle that gave this relationship would be adjacent, opposite over adjacent, 1 over -√3. I don't like that. Rationalize the denominator. And it would be, I'm going to put that negative up into the numerator, -√3 over 3 after we rationalize. So those are our 2 answers that they wanted to know in quadrant 2. If we go down to quadrant 3, our answers are going to change a little bit. Sine of the angle in quadrant 3 is opposite over hypotenuse. Now sine's becoming negative. And tan of the angle is opposite over adjacent, which is -1 over -√3. Negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive value, and then when you rationalize, you'll get √3 over 3. So that's what we wanted to do for that question. Using this, figure out which sides, apply apply the signs to whichever two quadrants this is true for, create your triangles, fill in the unknown sides, solve your other two ratios.